Okay. We worked together.
Hospital ever invite your. Oh, that's fine.
What a representative was. Texas?
Yeah, I'm not sure what area.
Really?
Yeah, I saw his name, because they were showing Texas, that
Yeah.
Raleigh was right up at the top.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I said they're gonna do it themselves.
They are.
Yeah. Every time he goes on TV, we get calls. The more he stays quiet, the easier our life
It
is.
doesn't.
As long as it's good,
Yeah.
talk, it's 50-50. Half the people are for and half are.
Exactly.
No matter what you do.
You can never please everybody.
That's correct.
Communications. Yeah, I don't know how I got.
Planning on a big year. This really. A lot of people.
Other than the. This back. Yeah.
To reach out to the government.
Oh, sorry.
Well, they're always need to find out our
Your
boundaries.
name is. Becca.
I want to
I
get
know.
back.
It is.
Weird. This
Yeah.
area that we are, at least have a map. So we.
Yeah.
But it's that. They were saying all the way to 45. I'm going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Montgomery County.
Yeah.
Or, Porter, Cheney,
Try to keep everything.
Crosby.
Yes.
Yeah. In-
The taxes.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, those are no brainers there.
Yes.
I know, I was busy. It was the third, wasn't it?
Are on.
Yeah, three Italian.
Well, I want to be on. You are, you're up in that little circle. Dun,
Oh, yeah.
dun, 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 dun.
Little drinks. Yeah. I mean,
So kind of.
yeah, think about what.
But I wouldn't call it various.
It's gonna be. Goes on there.
I'll ask what you want to see. Mine's gonna be quick. I'm just giving a quick legislative update. It's gonna be mainly case. Because that's. What are we? Or
I know you're not.
Calling and spirit.
Yeah. I would think that's be like. Big game. What day was it? Tuesday?
Where'd you give me the meeting?
Yeah, for the district. Is it your state representative or is it? Who? Charlie Cunningham, that's me. I'm supposed to be his swearing in for him and for Senator buddy of mine, who's retired, good man. The head of the that's game. Oh, really? He retired and worked together with Big Man. He got senator.
Let's see, got the, let me ask. Where's the boundary? Oh. Maybe I need to wait.
Right out the door, out that door, all the way down to the door.
Okay.
And it's-
Sorry about that.
We're keeping you in the dark.
Thank you, Judy.
Oh, that's what politicians do. Not, I didn't say that.
Say that.
I didn't end up going because I was driving fog, I can't see all the way to Austin. He's taking pictures. He said the reason town. It was in the newsletter? It will be. No, it's swearing in, we did it all. So that'd be, don't know if you'll be here today or not. I know he's not out. And talking. Longer.
All right, well, like to say that we start on time and we end on time. We didn't quite start on time, but we'll end on time. Anyway, welcome to CRTF, Community Response Task Force. Thank you for all of you being here. Online, same thing. We're recording this. We'll put it online. We do have the website and everything now. As every organization, we have our growth process. So we've grown quite a bit. This is a new year. And, I thank the board, which I really want to introduce now. Earl, is vice president, hiding behind screen. There's Earl. All righty. Been supported forever. Earl, and then Mr. Money, Leroy, hiding. Okay, Leroy Harris.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Been supported forever. While we're talking money, I want to mention Rotary. Rotary gave us a $4,000 grant. And what we're going to use it for is for our, we have an app, which we are going to have the public be aware of, because that's what we need. Disaster strikes, you hit the app, and then we're on. So thank you, Rotary. So Mr. Money, that'll point to the account. It's not there quite yet, but it's coming. Secretary. I'm looking at you. Lynn Shady. Alice Brackett. Thank you so much. Been involved since day one. And then, Mr. Bob. Forever CRTF. What's this here? Cheryl is gone. Cheryl is. Am I forgetting somebody? I don't think I am. But anyway, thank you so much. And then again, my name is Philippe. I usually start with myself because I forget it. And been involved with this from basically day one. The accident, I was merely serving cop, and they said, throw your hat and throw your card in the hat, and I did, and I got picked. I never went anything, but it does agree. This is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Really responding. And we do that how? Us, the 48 hours, 72 hours after the disaster. That is before anybody can come to a meeting. That's when everybody's looking at our community, looking at how well we're doing, what can they get out of it. They're told to stay back. And then, comes a moment where they're allowed in. And then overcharges. No, this is us. This is, trees fell, we need have them cut, we need cots, we need oxygen tanks, put it on our hand. And then us talks to us. And that's what we do. So now we have a website, we have our hubs. The only thing we're missing is public awareness a little bit. A lot. So put us in front of people. That is the Property Association. That is everything. Just like here we are for the community. I don't know who we are. We're only as good as our partnership. It's not a membership. We don't charge. But it's a partnership. We're only as good as our government, politicians, anything, everything. They have talent to contribute. Let us know, and let us know how. Haves and have nots. And the app is not always open. We don't open it for a rainstorm in California or whatever. But if it's real, that is real, then we'll have it for our community goal. And whatever needs or haves or have nots get posted, be that. It's not like, I have a piece of furniture to sell. No, this is your stuff. So that's our promise to the community, and that's what we double. So anyway, thank you for attending. We do have a website. We do have speakers. Usually that's our mission. Emergency related. That's our value. And if you can help us with that, contributions in the program, we're here for you. And again, only as good as a partnership. This is what it says. All right. So anyway, I can start with a prayer first, and now Lynn, let's start with the prayer. What's important to me, and then we'll do the flags. And if you can help us with that.
Father, thank you. We give you honor and glory today. We thank you for each of the cause of witness. Lord, help us to be mindful of our neighbors and to do what we can to help them. We ask for your blessings and ask that you would guard us and keep us. In Jesus' name.
Please, thank you.
Alice.
To our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now to the greatest state in our country. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you. All right, well. I'll go first. You'll go first. So please let me introduce Cameron. And he needs no further introduction.
I know that,
And
but
thank you for your support.
of course. So I'm Cameron, I'm Congressman Cratchit's field grad, and Elizabeth will give more comprehensive casework presentation. But I just wanted to give a quick legislative update, kind of what we got passed last session and what we're hoping to get passed through this session. So once again, just quickly committee assignment, Congressman Crenshaw was serving on energy and commerce again. It's still in the organizational stage, so they haven't determined what subcommittees. Last session, he was on the health subcommittee, as well as environment and climate change subcommittees. And basically this committee has a huge impact on the Houston region because of our massive healthcare presence as well as our massive energy presence. So basically legislative priorities for the Congress in this session. We're looking at border security, fiscal responsibility, energy security, addressing supply chain issues and high inflation, and reduce healthcare costs. And in order to do that, we're going to try and build on some of the success we had last year with healthcare, such as the mental health services block grant, which the Congressman introduced and signed into law. And then we are also reintroducing bills on the border that hopefully will come up for a vote now that we have a Republican majority that didn't get brought to the floor last session. First of all, we introduced yesterday the Declaring War on Cartels Act, which would allow us to use federal funds to and federal troops to help stop the cartels at the border. And then we want to close loopholes and end asylum abuse, which would basically language in immigration that allows us claims at the border to be made between ports of entry, which would cut down on people illegally crossing no real asylum. Finally, the Anti-Border Corruption Improvement Act, which would expedite hiring at the CBP and make it easier to hire former military and others who already have security. And also just things that the Congressman's looking to do in the community. He's been active in seeking legislative solutions to address grant funding and appropriations for the Lake Houston Dam project and numerous other flood mitigation projects in the Cypress Creek area as well. And we're also looking to continue closely working with Harris County Flood Control District and Montgomery County now that we have all of the woodlands and other parts of East Montgomery County and other local stakeholders on flooding infrastructure and federal federal legislation involving disaster mitigation. And to that end, we expect to be heavily involved in the Water Resources Development Act, which is slated to be considered in early 2024. So that's and then basically just a couple other things that the Congress is doing on energy. He's a co-sponsor for the Advanced Nuclear Production Act, which would accelerate the deployment of nuclear energy, which is a great source for renewable energy. It's safe and really reliable. Yeah, and that's pretty much what we're looking at for our legislative update. So if there are any quick questions, I don't know how much I can answer, but I can definitely direct you to the right people to answer those questions. Yeah.
Could you be a little more specific on what you all are doing for border security?
So for the board, at least for now, the declaring war on the Cartels Act, which was reintroduced yesterday with Congressman Waltz, that's really focused on hitting it at the cartels because they're the ones that are pushing all fentanyl and frankly people across the border. But I can let me get I'll send you an email with a link to Dan's description of it. He released a podcast on exactly what he's doing.
Did he have anything to do with the box trucks that were put up there?
Not as far as I know.
It's not the box trucks, it's the boxes from the trucks. Well, something about you know, the 8
Arizona.
We put some up trying to make a border.
Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, that was Arizona. So he didn't have any involvement in that, as far as I know.
Well, also on help and look for some more if we need it. Because that's really an issue there. I mean, it's not just fentanyl, it's migrants.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I mean, there's no problem with them coming in if they want to do it legally and applying for that. But the just opening the doors needs to be shut down.
That's kind of what he's getting at. The second act that he's closing loopholes and ending asylum use. Because right now, in order to technically claim asylum, you're supposed to go through port of entry, but many of these migrants that are claiming asylum are coming through just not ports of entry, which is awful.
Well, you know, there was talk about trying to help their country, like Venezuela, somebody, so that they wouldn't need to have to come up this way. Is anything being done on that?
Well, I think part of that you have to technically, in order to claim asylum, it has to be your closest country. So technically, those people that are claiming asylum from Venezuela and Nicaragua and Ecuador shouldn't be claiming asylum in the U.S. And that's why the return to Mexico policy needs to be reinstated, because that you can just send the people back to Mexico, which is their closest country to a safe country, since Mexico is considered by the State Department a safe country. So technically, they should have to put in there something there.
How do we get away with the illegal entry? I mean, I don't understand. We have laws, but we're not following the laws.
It comes down to a lot of the Biden administration just not preparing to enforce the laws. So hopefully now that we have a Republican majority and we're starting to see a lot of good progress with border security issues on the House floor, it'll force them to kind of take issue with it if they want to look like they're trying to legislate it all.
You know, the border patrol ones.
Exactly.
Federal troops,
Yes.
state troops as opposed to United States troops.
National Guard, I believe it's
Before we work.
exactly, yeah.
We have to change the constitution.
Exactly, yeah. Definitely not trying to change the constitution. Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, thank you.
That, no, on the 19th of this month, Kingwood area Republican women are having a speaker. He happens to be a friend. His name is Hippolito Acosta. He was a border agent and he was undercover, and he gave me his book and I read it and it was terrifying. But he will be speaking at that meeting if you're interested. It'll be the 19th of January at the tin roof at 11 o'clock.
Just to add to Hippolito, he worked the area from, I'm retired from doing the same thing. I was a director for that area. Hippolito worked from the Del Rio Eagle Pass area all the way over to El Paso.
Yeah, he had some interesting things. He was all the way up in the Chicago office because they ship them up to Chicago. Now I know why Chicago has such a big Hispanic community. They're already all set.
I know you've just taken your seat, but a question occurred to me and it might be totally outside your framework.
Sure.
Trafficking is a major issue.
Yes.
I'm connected to a lot of catchers. In other words, people who, once the women get trafficked and get wounded and hurt.
Yeah.
Is there a space to connect with the congressman about these ministries that I can connect you with? One of my is very specific. It's Rahab's Daughters. It rescues women during Super Bowls.
Yes.
And they are wonderfully positioned to
Yeah.
help. Once we begin to get a handle, we have casualties already. And once we get tracking where they've actually gotten tracked to all over the country and really attack the trafficking situation, you've got broken women and broken families that just need God's love.
No, please send me an email with that information because I know the congressman cares about that. A couple of years ago, we had a trafficking summit.
So are you familiar with Dream Center?
Yes. Yeah.
So there's one in Splendora.
Yeah.
I'd like to get in contact with you personally about
Yeah,
that.
please do.
You need your numbers here,
Let me give you my cell, but
please.
that's all right.
Yeah, because I'm a texter, sir.
Perfect.
And Dream Center here fed 1 million people this last year. 1 million people, their little one location. So
That's Josh Mason, right?
yes,
Yeah, I was actually texting
I'm Michael.
Cameron. Good to
Okay,
meet you.
so I'm also connecting with the food pantries
Perfect.
and other reconciliation, including apartment life.
Okay.
Were you available next Friday at all?
I'll check my calendar, but
I
shoot me an
will, I'll
email.
reach you.
Yeah, or a text, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, either one works.
Okay, good. That's good space to be in.
Thank you, Cameron. All right, well, Elizabeth.
Hi guys, I'm Elizabeth. I'm one of the caseworkers with Congressman Mitchell's office. So I'm just here to give just a little overview of what we can help with. We're trying to reach out to the community more just know, so they know that we do have resources available for y'all. So you might be wondering, what is casework? So it's the process of submitting a congressional inquiry to a federal agency on behalf of the constituent. And while we can't guarantee a favorable outcome, we do our best to help the constituent receive a timely response. So basically what that looks like is, you as the constituent that needs help with fill out a signed privacy release form, which you can actually access with this QR code if interested, if you just want to take a look at it. You provide a copy of your ID and like supporting documentation, and then we get in contact for the agency on your behalf. We reach out to a slew of agencies, anything federal that you need assistance with, that's where we can help. And so I'm just going to give a few examples of some of our most popular agencies that we help with, the most common cases we have. FEMA, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that. So if there was an emergency declaration, we would be able to assist you navigating the website to apply for the available funds. Our district director, Lauren, I'm sure many of you know her, she is an expert with FEMA. So if we need help with any of that, we can definitely assist you. And wanted to put in a pro tip to make sure you have flood insurance, which I'm sure we all took. Another big one is the IRS. We are all familiar. We know them. So we can help if you're missing a tax return, if you still have stimulus payments that you haven't received. But the biggest thing we have is missing returns if you file your taxes and you know you're supposed to be getting a refund, but it's been a year and you still haven't gotten it, we can help you with that. So basically with that, we would form a copy of your 1040 and then your ID. Also, if it's a joint return, you and your spouse, we have two privacy forms. IRS, that's a recent change that they've implemented into their agency. And then the tip I have for the IRS is to file online, because this past year, we couldn't even submit inquiries for the current tax year until October, because they just had piles and piles of paper returns and just trailer buildings outside their office. So something I recommend to people is if you can file online, I would go ahead and do it if you want the return, and that's fine from there. The Department of State, so this is for passports. If you're traveling soon, we can help you get your passport. If you've already applied, we can find out which agency it's located at. Because it can be sent anywhere across the country, and we can say, and we can send an inquiry on their behalf, they're traveling on this day, and they need their passport. And then if you are scrambling and you can't find your passport, or you have your passport and you realize it's expired, we can get you an appointment at the Houston agency. They typically prioritize people traveling within 5 days, but usually we get appointments within 24 to 48 hours. And you would show up and get your passport that same day. So for that, again, the privacy form, and then typically they like to have a proof of travel, so a flight, a hotel, cruise, booking, and we can get you all set up with that. The Social Security Administration, if you have missing payments, adjustments, if you're, trying to enroll in Medicare Part B, or your status has changed, we can, or if you're trying to get spousal benefits, we can help you with that, get some answers, and actually get those reinstated. Sometimes it's just a technical issue on the Social Security Administration's part, and it just takes us a full click of a button for them to fix it. But we know that sometimes they're not the easiest organization to get a hold of. So that's where we would come in and get in touch with their congressional team over at the local office that you're assigned to get those payments set up. And then the VA, we can help with a lot of things with the VA, your benefits and the adjustment of your disability status. If you're having trouble getting appointments down at the VA hospital, whether it's for your mental health, physical health, dental health, we can help, get those appointments rolling in. Sometimes they're just really backlogged and it takes getting their attention. If you have an appeal or an exam for your disability, and you want to know the status of it, we can get that for you. If it's with the administrative law judge, or if it's still in the docket, we'll be able to tell you that. But specifically, you would reach out to our Veterans Outreach Coordinator. Her name is Liz Burnett. I have an email there. She's a veteran herself, so she can help with VA active duty, anything like that. So I'm open to any questions. Those were just a few of the federal agencies. Like I said, there's so many of them that will help with. Those are just the top ones that people seem to need the most help with, if they're don't have questions. Well, thank you.
So who would we contact? Would we contact, for example, Liz Burnett? Would we contact the office? Who?
For any veterans issues would be Liz.
Yeah, that's just for Liz. You can contact me. I have some of the cards here, but you can just call our office and say I need help. And they'll answer.
How quickly can you do the passports?
Those are usually really fast. The appointments, like I said, that's usually within 24 hours to 48 hours. If you've already applied and you're needing it shipped to you, that takes, I would say 2 days. And they usually, whenever we send an inquiry like that, they do the overmission.
What about expired passports?
You have to completely reapply or what? You do have to completely reapply. It would be the same. If you're wanting an appointment, then we can get it for you, but if you're just doing if you've already applied, I don't know what your situation is. Are you traveling? Oh, okay. So it like depends on your date of travel as well. But if you like apply for your passport, you're just not gonna have days, even if you're not traveling, you can intervene, get like a status update for you. 'Cause sometimes they're kind of picky about the documents they accept. And they like to send letters in the mail, but then the letters get lost. So then the applicant doesn't know what to do.
Elizabeth, like, we have a hurricane coming. I mean, the community involved, what can you do? Is there anything? I mean, you're well connected, messages we can send out. Our voice would hear, is there anything like that?
Like to let people know that,
Or-
like CRTF is available.
Yeah, or anything, all the resources, I get all of that administration part. But a train derails, there's chemicals. There's a plane crash. How can you help us with that? Is there something that we can tap into? That you can help us get the voice out?
Yeah.
Help us communicate, how would that?
Yeah, you just have to reach out to our office. I mean, so we know, what you're gonna be dealing with. And then whenever a federal agency has oversight on chemical spills or anything of that matter, that we would bring it to their attention on your behalf. So you would just have to contact our office.
Does anybody?
You contact me, Karen, and then if you just call and say I need help with, any of us would be willing to help you.
Because that's what we're about.
Yeah.
Get it out,
Get it out there.
there's a car that's loaded, there's
Mhm.
chemicals, what do we do? Actually, I consider it a service to all, to get the voice help, but we need help.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Yeah,
And
and
Yeah.
it's also it's something like if a hurricane is coming, or if there was some unforeseen disaster that happens. And we can also use our social media to get out sources.
Yes.
well, that was my questions.
Yeah, so we can help to.
It's us, we're all about the 48 hours.
Yeah, especially working well with our newsletter subscribers, if we ever send something,
Yeah.
and go to all of us.
Yeah, we have so that's the other thing. If you're not signed up for our newsletter, you can sign up online. And that's how we communicate weekly. It's never asking for donations since we're not campaign related. But it's just giving legislative updates, what's going on in the district, in DC. And it's a way that we can push out notifications like that.
Let me see if I can try to clarify a question that might be practical.
Sure.
So staging is a term maybe some people have heard.
Yeah.
So we know a hurricane's coming. We got a 10-day forecast. It's coming. Am I getting there, Philippe?
Well, 10 days is a lot of time.
I know, but say it's even 3. The
Right.
point is we need communication structure, but we also need to know, and how do we get in line, even being proactive to be a staging?
So
Did I get there?
I would say, since we don't really have any jurisdiction over actually getting
Resources.
like that, I think the better way to do that would to be going through TDM. Yes. Is that Transtar over on the Harris County Emergency Relief Center, I think it is. They're the ones that really handle the days leading up to the
Logistics.
We can help with the funding after the fact.
Exactly.
But we can still get those notifications out in newsletters and press releases
And social media time.
to try and make people aware of it.
Here's a representative case of people who are still losing their homes because the rot is still in their walls, and they're just the tip of the iceberg. If there's one, there's 50,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Okay.
Us, we're really interested in getting the message out right away. You know, that's what we are, because the government does act kind of, you know, 48 hours every
Real.
says that, but this is us, we're on our own. So what we're looking for is the 12 hours to 6. You know, and that's the thing.
Yeah, so in the event of disaster, we help put that out, newsletter or press release or so.
For example, we had a fire. I don't know how minute hey, Philippe,
There's such a thing.
Philippe, I don't know how minute we want to get, but there was a fire in an apartment complex. There's 2 examples I want to share. 10 apartments were lost. They need response now. And then, during the freeze, I know people who were dislocated from apartments in
Yeah.
Houston that had to find hotels. There are real needs that happen in short windows. And if we could find a way to increase the communication structure and cut that time lag, that would be huge.
But you know, Michael, we can't be everything for everybody.
Right.
That's what the politicians' challenges are. But us, we can be a tool to that. Is where I'm selling this stuff,
Exactly.
you know.
Be an ear.
What is the 80-20 rule? You know, 80% of their effort gives you 20% of the result. When I'm all for the 20 giving the 80. So let us community be that for you, but hear us.
Yeah.
You know, a train could be derailing right now. Oh, we have no idea what all is happening in front of Canada. We don't want to know. But it could be today, it could be tomorrow. It's not if, it's when.
Right.
Airplanes going down, they're huge. You know, that's where we need access. Immediate. Yeah. We don't need 48, we don't need 72. You know, because that's even well, that's forms and administration, but we need a community. So
It gives both parties an opportunity to shine
But
and to show up, and we need that structure beforehand. Exactly.
so that's why our app,
Yeah,
you know, click on it. If you have a talent, give it. You know, if you don't. If you have a need, you need. If you get a response, you do, you don't, whatever. But it's like me. That's that's where this organization is coming.
Clearinghouse.
Then after 48 hours, 96, we just kind of gracefully bow out. That's when everybody else comes in. But help us. That's our ask.
if you ever need something like that, just,
Yeah.
you're my cell, you might.
I know, do I?
So just.
Do I ever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions? I don't mean to steal the show, but I'm all for this, but. Cause you know what, and I'll end with this is, you know, an American by choice, and I'm calling it. Use that. American by choice. Then I came here and I built a hotel. You know, only the Lord knows. But right after I opened it, we had Katrina and Rita. And it was, I couldn't believe it wasn't. It was a man-made disaster if I ever saw. And that's what this is about. You know, I mean, it was just a man-made disaster. People ran out of gas at my front door, the cancer patients, you know, turn, all that. And I didn't know where to go. But then America being America came to me, said, well, you know, I've got this and this. I used to be a nurse, used to be a doctor, whatever. Here's my talent. Oof, what do I do with that? Well, that's what CRTF is doing. And it took me 48 hours to figure it out. And, you know, as my people were coming back, because we were alone, it was just my wife, myself, my 3 kids, and a dog, you know, day and night. And when they were coming back, I said, well, here's a binder. The asks are on the left and the haves are on the right. Combined. Starbucks called, said, well, we have a pallet of coffee cups. You want it? And I said, yes. Oh. And I regretted it because it showed up at my front door. It was on a pallet. And I thought, it's a first start. You know, what do I do with that? And, you know, it wasn't my style to have that in my front door, et cetera, et cetera. But that's what this organization is about. Right? And, immediately, boom, boom, I need food, here it is, maybe. But let us help this community. And the app is really a wonderful tool. Click on the app, post it, we vet it. It's real, and maybe you'll see it, you won't have it to give, but you know of somebody that might, maybe not, then they'll pass it on to somebody else and it snowballs, and that's what we're about. And if we can help one person, it's enough. And we'll never, this organization will never know how many people we helped. I know of one case where they needed cots. The flood. And, I haven't. But I'm on the other side of the border, you know, oh, okay, we need, how do we get them here? Well, I had a way to get them there, you know, but all of this happened outside of us, the board. But it was needing cots. And it wasn't for one night, but maybe for 15 nights, I don't know. But we really helped without us knowing. And that's what this organization is about.
You know, that's what our church is and everybody
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
We happened to help a friend. And why you don't believe in God after that flood, you should. Because friends of ours lived in the patio homes. Got a call 4 o'clock and 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. You have to order meals. She got out of bed. It was up to her ankles. Within at 2 hours or so, it was up to here. It's a 1-story home. They had to go out in front of their home with all that sweeping water. Nobody's around. And her husband had just been told that, you know, he doesn't have cancer anymore. He just got over his cancer. And there was this boat all right a ways down. She said wasn't looking her way. And all of a sudden, this guy just turns around in his boat to look and sees them. She's on the phone with her daughter, telling her that they're seeing all this water. The daughter was hysterical. They were saved. Nobody was killed in that flood except the lady that slid
Yes.
by that poison was killed. Nobody.
But that's the kind of community we are. You know, I'm told that CRTF wouldn't work anywhere else but because we're all howdy. How can I help? You know, the other, you know, I don't know what to say, but it's all about me, my job, and I'm not gonna share anything.
Well,
This is not us. Howdy. How are you? How can I help?
Then
That's what we're meant to.
he said, you know, I think are getting too old to do this because we are pulling rugs, furniture, everything out of them. It was,
Anyway, you mentioned God. This is God's will. That's us.
we do it from love.
All of us, that's what we do. Thank you, Alice. All right, well, anyway, we've got 10 minutes if if I want to be politically correct.
I would see a dance.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Put that in a Christmas party.
No, I think they leave right away, that'd be good. Can I make a motion? to close the meeting if there's
I said.
a second?
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Cameron, thank you. Thank you all for being here. All right, and please help us promote the website.
And say a prayer for my house.
I grew up.
Second Friday of the month. Same place, same time.
Hey, that's incredible.
Not very.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Wow.